Greetings and a very warm welcome to you all to Astro Times today. This is my second and final video in the series of this Karako Bhavanaashaaya. There are many misconceptions that are loomed or that were loomed in the society about this basic concept of Karako Bhavanaashaaya. If briefly to say, if any planet is posited in the house to which it is Karaka affair, there is a belief that that planet spoils the Karakattvas of that bhava. Karako Bhavanaashaaya. This is what the meaning of that term Karako Bhavanaashaaya. Okay, so every planet is assigned so many Karakattvas. It's not only one Karakatva, so many Karakattvas. Sun has so many Karakattvas. He represents soul, he represents father, he represents ego, he represents government, he represents president of India or president of any country, the king. But his primary Karakatva is father or soul. Moon, mother and comforts. They are his primary Karakatvas. Mars is for brothers. Even though Mars represents so many things, the primary Karakatva that is assigned to Mars is siblings, younger siblings. Mercury for profession, Jupiter progeny, Venus spouse, Saturn longevity. These are the primary Karakatvas that were assigned to these planets. Apart from this, they are Karakatvas. They are Karakas for thousands of other matters that we come across in our daily life. Now, if Mars is posited in third house, will he really spoil all the Karakatvas what he represents? Or third bhava? Now we will see. There are 7 planets: Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and finally Saturn. Rahu, Ketus we are not discussing here because either they don't own any houses or they are not considered in this Karako Bhavanaashaaya concept. Okay. From this Karako Bhavanaashaaya concept, 3 planets are straightaway exempted. Sun, Moon and Saturn. Straightaway exempted. Sun is Karaka for first house and 9th house. Sun is in his capacity as the Karaka for first house, it represents soul. In his capacity as Karaka for 9th house, it represents father. Even though he is posted in either of any of these houses, he will not work as Karako Bhavanaashaaya. Next, Moon. He is the Karakafar. She is the Karakafar. Mother and comforts. In his capacity, even though he is posited in the 4th house, he will not damage the Karakatvas. He will not work as Karako Bhavanaashaaya of 4th house. In the same way, Saturn. Saturn is the Karaka for longevity. Basic Karakatva. And the house is 8th house. Even though if Saturn is posited in 8th house, he will not work as Karako Bhavanaashaaya of 8th house in relation to that Karakatva. Here we are basically talking about the basic Karakatvas of those planets We are not talking about the Karakattvas of those planets as a whole. Okay. Now remaining planets are Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus. Let us consider Mars first. Mars, the primary Karakatva, is younger siblings. Some people say siblings. For our discussion purpose, we say younger siblings. So will he really work as Karako Bhavanaashaaya if he is posited in the third house of Rasi chart? No, he will not work. In my earlier videos also many times I told, by particularly seeing one position in one chart, we cannot jump to conclusions. That is utter wrong. There are so many other tests that we have to conduct, that we have to perform before coming to one final conclusion. Okay. Here, what is the second test that what we have to do? First, if he is posited in third house of D1 chart. Next, as a second measure, second test, what we have to do? We have to check the D3 chart. D3 chart, as all of you know, it is also called as Drakena. And D3 chart we also see for co-bonds. Now the rule is, if he is posited in the third house of D1 chart and also posited in the Lagna of these three chart, then he may become the Karako Bhavanaashaaya. He may become the Karako Bhavanaashaaya. So, does it really mean that the native spoils the life, career or something else of his younger cohorts? It's not that way. The native is the native is the youngest sibling in that family. The native is the youngest sibling in that family. That is what we have to confirm if Mars is posited in the third house of D1 chart and also in the Lagna of D3 chart, Varga chart. But when we are studying Varga charts, we must be 100% sure about the birth time. Even 1 minute or 2 minutes of difference in the birth time also, it will not give correct picture of Varga charts. That problem is there. When you are studying Varga chart, you have to make sure that the given birth time is 100% correct, accurate. Next, Mercury is the primary Karaka for profession. The primary Karaka that is assigned to Mercury is profession. People say he represents so many things, but primary Karaka is profession. If he is posited in the 10th house of D1 chart and also in the Lagna of D10 chart, that is Dasamsa, then he is a real hurdle to your profession. He works as a Karako Bhavanaashaaya. Okay. Next comes Jupiter. The primary Karakatva that is assigned to Jupiter is progeny. If he is posited in the 5th house of D1 chart and also in the Lagna of D7 chart, Saptamamsa, which we see for progeny basically, then this Karako Bhavanaashaaya comes into picture for Jupiter. Venus, as all of you know, he represents spouse. Husband to wife and wife to husband. Both ways. Of course, there are several different versions. Some people say for women we have to see Mars. Some people say we have to see Jupiter. For men we have to say Venus. So many different versions. I'm not talking about, I'm not going to that minute level for this discussion purpose. I'm limiting myself only to Venus represents spouse. Whether it is a male or wife to male and husband to female. Okay. If he is posited in the seventh house of D1 chart and also in the lagna of D9 chart, Navamsa chart, then this Karako Bhavanaashaaya principle comes into play for Venus. Okay, this is how we have to understand this Karako Bhavanaashaaya principle. Hope this information is useful to you. If anything is there, my number is there on the screen. Goodbye and God bless you all.